Okay, well, I have an update.
Ooh, an update.
Yes, the fans have come out and they have opinions about Janice Sweeten and Janice Sweeten's notes.
Oh no,
because remember you read some of Janice's notes about our podcast.
Got it. So basically, our fans are starting a beef with my mom. Is that what's happening? I just need to
No. They're not starting a beef.
Okay,
Quite the opposite, my friend. Let me read you a few comments about the legendary Janice.
That basically she needs to be a permanent host.
Okay. So Chelsea at Chelsea Leah 87 says, okay, so when are we getting a Janice Sweeten podcast? Just giving notes on the HRT podcast.
Oh my God. Hilarious.
And then Stacy Pierce, Florida says, if Janice Sweeten had her own spinoff podcast where she discusses every episode of How Rude, I would definitely listen to that too.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to let people, my mom will be thrilled that people want to listen to her notes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A whole podcast of just Janice's notes.
I'll be like, guess what, Mom? You have a whole audience now to give your notes to. You let them know.
I love this. She's her own fan club. I mean, she's just legendary.
I mean, she's kind of legendary at this point. She is. Janice Sweeten is.
I just love your mom. I love your mom.
I do too. I love my mom. And you know what? I love her more the older I get, and like the better you know what I mean? The better relationship that you get with your mom is you're like, oh wait, I just can be me and she can be her, and we get, it's just great. Yeah, she's hilarious.
So great. Oh yeah. So thank you, Janice. By the time you get to this episode, your fan club will have a president and a vice president.
Right? By the time she gets to this episode, she's going to have her own podcast and just be killing our numbers. I mean, no one's even going to listen to us anymore. They're just going to listen to Janice Sweeten's notes.
iHeartRadio will be reaching out to her.
Yes, exactly.
After this episode airs.
I'm going to, you know what? I'll produce this. I'll take a cut, Janice Sweeten.
I love it.
There's demand for Janice Sweeten podcasts. I love it.
There is. I'm sorry. Charlie. Sorry, I'm dog sitting for.
Oh, I was like, who's Charlie?
Dog.
What? I was like, I've known you 30 some odd years, and there's never been a Charlie in your family. What happened?
No, I'm dog sitting Charlie, who is my ex-husband's dog, because they're on vacation. And so Charlie's here, and he's,
what kind of dog is Charlie?
He's a little cocker, and he's so cute. I wish I could get him to come over here, but he's
a cocker spaniel. Can you say the whole thing? Because when you say he's a little cocker, I'm sorry. Come on, I need the whole cocker spaniel. Thank you. We don't need to. It's not a personal indictment on him. You know what I mean? We don't need to discuss that. That's a poor thing.
It's not a judgment. No, he's
not a judgment.
This whole conversation.
He's a little cocker spaniel.
He's a little cocker spaniel.
Okay.
I don't know what he's barking at right now. Charlie, I'm so sorry, you guys.
He's barking at the fact that you called him a little cocker. He's like, I have some thoughts about this. Don't call me that, woman.
I've upset him.
Yeah,
I've upset him. So, apologies.
Well, here's the good thing. I didn't hear Charlie. I just heard you yelling at Charlie. So, it was a sudden outburst that I wasn't expecting. So, I think Charlie's fine. No one's hearing him.
Hopefully, whatever squirrel or whatever he's barking at goes away soon, because I can't see.
Right?
I can't see what he's barking at. So, okay. Well, he's part of our studio audience
right,
today.
Yeah, exactly. He's
giving us notes.
He's giving us notes, right? Well, he and my mom are gonna have a podcast soon. Janice Sweeten and the little cocker. That's what it's gonna be. Oh boy. Yep, my mom's in for it tonight. I was just saying she does not know what she's in for at this show that she's coming to tonight.
We're only 4 minutes into this podcast, and it's already off the rails.
Gone. There aren't even rails. We're just free flowing. Yeah. Well, you're the one that's insulting your ex-husband's dog, Poor guy. All right.
Now I'm warm. I got to get my menopause fan out.
Did I laugh you into a hot flash?
You laughed me right into a hot flash. Look at him all flush. Anyways, how are you, Jodie Sweeten?
I'm fine. I don't have any dogs here.
How's your dog?
My dog's great. Your dog,
Yay.
Holly. How's Holly?
Holly's doing good. She's
Okay,
putting up with the little cocker just fine.
Got it.
They get along well.
Okay. Well, I mean, she's probably Can she even see or hear him?
Deaf. Yeah,
I was gonna say she doesn't even care that he's barking.
No,
for
she
it,
can't
Charlie.
hear him barking, so she's totally not even triggered by him at all. So yeah, no, she's doing great. She's 17. She has a little IV pole that I carry around because I give her little IV fluids, subcutaneous fluids, every other day for her kidney disease.
I couldn't do it.
The first few times were difficult because sometimes I stick. Sometimes you have to like tent the skin.
No, oh God!
And sometimes I poke it all the way through, and the fluid.
Stop! I'm literally going to puke on my microphone. I can't. I am
really?
not.
Are you afraid of needles?
Bleh. Yeah.
Dude. You are. Wow, that was a visceral. Okay. Oh, I apologize. I didn't know you had this.
Needles, blood draw. I used to not even be able to say IV without completely breaking out in a sweat and freaking out. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know this about you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fine with tattoos. It's just once you go trying to draw blood for me, I freak out. So
okay, that's interesting. That's right, because tattoos, you're just like, yeah, whatevs. Just put a full koi, a life-size koi on my side.
Yeah, but it's because they always have trouble. I have tiny little baby veins that they have to bring pediatric nurses in to find. So it's a whole thing. It's So I don't enjoy it. So that's why I could never ever. I'd be like, we have to have an in-home nurse coming in to give the dog shots.
Yeah, see, I got thick veins. I'm like well hydrated. Thick veins.
So this week's episode that we're talking about, no. Jesus.
We should put a not safe for work warning on
this episode for sure. Like, hey, guess what? The first 9 minutes of this podcast, watch out. It's going wild. If you have a fear of needles or of little cockers, don't listen. Yeah.
Just whew. All right. Let's do
the episode before.
Please, let's do the recap. Let's get back to the PG show that we're recapping here.
Yes.
Quick.
All right. Ready?
Welcome back. Yes, here we go. Welcome back to How Rude Tanneritos. I'm Andrea Barber.
And I'm sorry. I'm Jodie Sweeten. I was gonna say, and I'm Jodie Little Cocker Sweeten, but I didn't, and then I did, and now I ruined my own joke because I laughed in my head. So anyway,
you broke yourself. You broke yourself.
Story of my life. Okay.
Today we are discussing Season 3, Episode 4, titled Nerd for a Day. It originally aired on October 13th, 1989, and it goes a little something like this. When Jessie learns that Stephanie has been joining her fellow classmates in making fun of another child, he encourages Steph to apologize and change her behavior.
Very good,
this is such a good one.
It's such a great episode.
Such a classic episode. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was directed by Billy Foster.
By Coffee.
And written by the lovely Lenny Rips.
Yay!
We love him so much. And we have a gaggle of guest stars this week.
Indeed.
We have Max Alexander as Dr. Ruben Weiniger, the hug therapist. He was a stand-up comedian who worked on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and Hollywood Squares. Oh. And then we have the legendary Whit Hertford as Walter Duckface. Oh, this legendary character.
Yep.
Legendary actor. He was known in 1989 as Whitby Hertford. Right. And he's also known as Jacob in Nightmare on Elm Street, the Dream Child. Oh man, what a terrifying role. He's also an accomplished voice actor, director, producer, writer, and we will be speaking to him on the pod this week, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this conversation.
Such a great interview. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. So good. And then we have Nathan Nishiguchi returning as Harry. And if we could have a moment of silence, this is his final appearance on Full House.
Well, I have thoughts on his behavior in this episode, so I can't say that I'm terribly disappointed.
Well, overall the character
is Harry has evolved, but
he started off so strong. He started off so loving and wonderful and devoted, and then it goes all downhill. Yeah. But we've talked to Nathan in real life. He's doing wonderfully.
Yes.
He has a beautiful family, beautiful kids, and they are a very private family, so he won't be joining us on the podcast. But we wish him the best. We love him.
We
so
love
much.
Harry,
and oh my gosh, just what a great guy, what a great character.
Yeah,
holy mattress money. And moving on with the next guest star, we have Malachi Pearson as Brian Kagan. This is his first of 2 appearances on Full House. He's also in later season 3, the episode called Misadventures in Babysitting. He's the kid that gets his head stuck in the banister.
That's right.
That's him. I was like, yeah, I thought he looked familiar.
Right. Yes.
Yes. So I'm happy that he's going to be back. He also appeared on Family Matters, Valerie, Family Ties, and Highway to Heaven.
Huh.
And he was the voice. He voiced the voice of Casper in the 1996 video game of the same name.
Oh.
Yeah, lots of voice actors on the show this week. And moving right along, we have Jenny Drugan as Lori. She did 26 episodes of Land of the Lost. Woohoo.
Loved that show.
Let's hear it for Slee Stacks, baby.
I still make comments about
morning.
Slee Stacks, and people are like, what? Yeah.
Oh, man, that's me every morning.
Yeah.
Like when the sun comes out.
The sun.
And then we have Paul Wright III as band member of Jesse and the Rippers. I don't think they didn't give him a name. That's sad. He's just band member. But he's very talented.
What about the other band members? He's the only one that got a credit.
He's the only one that he didn't even get a name. He's the only one that got a credit.
That's interesting.
As band member, but he's a talented musician. He composed the theme song to the show Martin in 1995.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
And last, but certainly not least, we have Chuck Mahoney as Steven, which is uncredited. Who's Steven?
I have no idea.
Is that one of the other? No.
I don't know.
Who would Steven
It says
be?
uncredited. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember a Steven in the episode.
I don't know.
Did Steven get cut?
Maybe he got cut.
Maybe he got cut.
And then they just were like, well, we still have to. Well, okay, yeah. I don't know why.
Maybe Steven was the name of one of the mullets.
That must have been it.
Because they certainly deserve their own credit. We'll get there. If you thought season 1 was the epicenter of mullets, let me tell you guys.
Oh, no.
It's unreal.
The mullets are strong in this episode. Mullet game is strong.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are all of the guest stars this week. Holy cow. We start with our teaser in the living room. Michelle runs in with her toy car and tells Joey that the car is broken. Joey walks over and checks the car by shaking Michelle. This shaking causes her to say, which prompts Joey to report that it is broken all right. He pretends to fix up the car by giving Michelle some oil and tightening some screws. He shakes her again and she says, before finishing off with a loud vroom to indicate that the car is working again. She starts to drive off and Joey stops her, saying she forgot to pay her bill. Michelle says sorry and kisses Joey. He responds, here's your change, before kissing her right back. And she speeds off.
This was
our teaser.
This was cute. Such another great example of Dave doing all of his fun voice stuff.
Oh, yeah. He's like the Mary Poppins bag of voices. Like there's always more just coming out.
And I remember the girls used to love when he would do those noises. The spaceship, all that stuff. They thought it was hilarious.
What kid didn't like it? I mean, he was just such a hit with the kids. Okay, so we open the regular show with Jesse and Joey and Michelle in Joey's room, along with a random assortment of rippers and mullets, none of which are the rat tail ripper. Like, where is he?
I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I was like, is one of them the rat tail ripper that just now has more hair? It's been a couple years. They've grown it out a little bit. I couldn't tell.
Oh.
To be fair.
I didn't recognize any of these rippers.
I didn't recognize any of them, but this was, I mean, this hair was, it was
like a mullet convention.
There's not even words. It was standing up a good 6 inches.
Yeah, these mullets had their own heartbeats. Like they were just like,
I was
large
like,
and in charge.
At first I thought, is that Menudo? But, but it wasn't. But they also had that hair and a constantly rotating cast of members.
Revolving door
members, much like the Rippers. But yeah, I was shocked, truly, at the hair on these guys because it rivaled anything we saw in season 1.
Oh no!
And I thought I thought we had moved out of the hairband era at that point.
I thought so too.
John was in his faux turtlenecks and suspenders, living his best Rat Pack life.
Yes,
and I thought, maybe in rat tail mullet, Ripper is nowhere to be found, but he's been replaced by gigantic. I was gonna say wig rippers, but that sounded
wig rippers.
Yeah, no. Rippers.
No, they're
rippers with I don't know what giant. They're
like the Dolly Parton rippers. They got big hair. They're
right?
just that's
It takes a lot of money to look this cheap, as she says. Yeah.
Yeah, the hair is very distracting in this scene, but
right,
hey, that's okay.
Yeah, when he tells him to take it from the top, I was like, the top of what? Their hair? Okay. And
oh my.
That is to say nothing of the song that we were about to get into.
Oh! You just wait. So Jesse counts 1, 2, and Michelle chimes in, "Buckle my shoe." He runs over to her, telling her to do it as they practiced. And Michelle enthusiastically responds, "Got it, dude." Jesse counts his band in, and they begin to sing the Pounds Away Diet Center jingle, which is problematic in so many ways.
So, you guys, I would just like it to be known that we do not endorse any of this. This was the late 80s, early 90s. Diet culture was obviously out of control, and this song is ridiculous. But here we are. It was sung by rippers with gigantic hair, and here we are. So
how was this even in the late 80s? Was this okay? This kind of song was okay? I don't remember.
Dude,
I don't know.
We've come a long way in what we go, I don't think we should say that.
Yeah, I was shocked. Yeah. Normally I'm just like, oh yeah, that was the 80s.
Right,
but this one threw me.
The song starts off with, "You won't be fat no more." And I was like, wow, that's aggressive and to the point. Okay.
And then they have Michelle singing "Bye Bye Fat" like every other lyric. It's
I know.
Oh yeah. And the other problematic thing is that basically they've ripped off the Beach Boys' "Fun, Fun, Fun." Like this isn't an original tune.
It's right.
There's copyright involved, guys. Like you can't pass this off as a Diet Center jingle when the Beach Boys kind of have some rights to this. You know?
Yeah. I just there was a lot of thoughts.
There's a lot of thoughts. Mm. So thankfully the song ends and Jesse, not soon enough, but thankfully it ends. Jesse says goodbye to his bandmates and shouts, "Work on your hair," as they exit.
I don't think they could more if they tried.
It was helmet hair. It wasn't moving.
I mean, that hair has been worked on.
It was pretty impenetrable. With all the Aquanet that was in that
Don't
mullet.
light a match.
Oh, my goodness. So Jesse turns to Joey and asks, "Do you think that song will motivate people to go on a diet?" And Joey admits, "Well, it worked for me. Let's go eat some pizza." DJ walks in and tells them about her English homework, which involves her observing a family member for one day and writing a report on what they do. She's going to pick someone who's interested in nothing but fun and toys. Jesse jokes that she must be referring to Joey, and DJ laughs. No, Michelle.
It really could have been either one. Definitely could have been either one.
It was 50-50 right there. Could have been either one. DJ walks up to Michelle and asks if she can follow her around for the day. Michelle states, "Okay, come with me. My room, now." DJ makes a note to her uncles. Observation number 1, subject has an attitude. And she follows Michelle out of the room. Stephanie runs in, announcing she's finally home. She explains that she was kept after school and had to keep her head down on her desk and not say a word for 15 minutes, which is a new record. Then she says, "See ya, boys," and runs out of the room. Jesse and Joey run after her to get more details.
Yeah, this was one of those episodes they were just mining from real life experiences of me getting in trouble for talking. Yeah.
I loved it. And you're just peak Stephanie here. I love your little plaid skirt.
Oh, yeah.
With your suspenders. Your hair is finally their hair is your hair is very well tamed. It's not like the frizzy.
It's a little, but it's better.
It's much better. Yeah. It's much more tamed. I'm here for this look.
Yeah. This is, very, very peak Steph, like little side ponytail sort of moment.
It's adorable.
And she's also smart. She's like, I'm going to drop this little nugget of I had to be kept after school. And then bye, see you later.
Yeah, and you're phrasing it like, oh, that's a new record. Like you've done something great. And then you run away. It's brilliant. Kids should take notes. So the guys follow Steph into the kitchen, and Jesse asks her why she was kept after school. Steph tells them that some kids were calling Walter Berman a duckface. Jesse asks if she was a part of this, and she says it wasn't just her, it was the whole class.
The standard response for kids.
I know.
I remember
that makes it better.
Me. Right. And you're like, great. So it was all of you be ganging up on someone. Even better.
That doesn't make it any better.
Right.
So Jesse scolds her, saying that's no excuse. Steph assures him that if he saw Walter, he would call him Duckface too. She tells them that he's always making these duck lips, and she proceeds to mimic him. Joey laughs, kid sounds like a quack up. And Steph demonstrates how the class was making fun of Walter by walking around the room, quacking like a duck.
Aww.
Joey and Jesse look at her with blank expressions, and she shrugs. Well, you had to be there. Jesse tells Steph that when he was younger, everybody used to tease him by calling him Zorba the Geek instead of Zorba the Greek.
Was
funny.
Was
That's
Jesse
clever.
ever a nerd, though? I don't feel like Jesse was ever a nerd. I don't know. That's just
I can see it.
Well, I feel like we saw him as a little kid in that one flashback, and he was chasing girls trying to get kisses, and then they were chasing after him. I don't know. Maybe he went through an awkward phase. He probably went through an awkward phase. Yeah, that's what he says. He says when he turned 13, his body flipped out. So we haven't. 13-year-old Jesse was awkward. Okay,
that's what we need. That's what we need to see is 13-year-old Jesse, because I'm here for that. Like for the acne-ridden, whatever puberty things are going on at the moment. That's a missed opportunity right there. Jesse admits that his body flipped out at 13. His nose outgrew his face. His ears outgrew his nose, and he was your basic Mr. Potato Head. So Joey pats him on the back and says, so before you were a stud, you were a spud. Jesse points to the door, motioning for Joey to leave. Yeah, Joey's not really helping. he's just like throwing out dad jokes, left and right. It's like, just go away, Joey. So Jesse says the point he's trying to make is that the kids who bullied him hurt his feelings. So it would be nice of Steph to call Walter and apologize. Steph asks, me? Called Duckface? Jesse nods in response. I love this bit. You are looking right at the camera during this line. Did you notice you were like looking? You look right at the camera. You look at Video Village, and then you look at the camera.
Oh,
you look at
Jesse.
The
fact that I didn't do that more was astounding. With my ADD constantly being like, "What's that?" Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
No, I'll have to go back and look at that because I didn't notice that actually.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's not super noticeable. I just noticed it because I know you, and it's fun. I look for your mistakes. Yeah, because that's what I live for.
Yeah.
So just then, Danny walks through the door. Steph runs up to him, and she says she's so happy to see him. She proceeds to tell her dad, just because I teased Duckface at school, Uncle Jesse's making me call him. Danny reminds her that she knows it's wrong to hurt someone else's feelings. He thinks Jesse is handling this situation perfectly. Steph obliges, saying she'll call Walter and apologize. Then she'll invite him over for some soup and quackers. She erupts into this laughter.
Slightly maniacal laughter was terrifying.
It was, you committed. You committed to this laugh bit, and it worked. It worked for me. Jesse and Danny both give her a look, and Steph admits she had to get that out of her system. She runs upstairs, and Jesse follows behind, telling Danny he's going to go track down Duckface Walter's phone number.
I totally get it. Sometimes you just have to get the joke out of your system. I fully understand.
And then you feel better, and then you can
move on.
You
feel better, and you're like, okay, now it's out. I'll be better now.
So Joey enters and greets Danny. Danny tells him that Becky is out of town tomorrow, so he needs someone to co-host his show. He asks for some ideas, and Joey offers himself to fill in. He's headlining
but this show does the most last-minute stuff.
Well, and it's nepotism.
It's a morning talk show, and you don't have a co-host for tomorrow? Like, no one thought about this? Did Becky just leave today? Like, I was like, wait.
And it's also casual. Like, there's no, negotiations. There's no, producers around.
There's no, oh, my God, what are we going to do? I have a show in 12 hours, and I don't have a co-host. It's like, yeah, hey, I got any ideas of someone that might be available tomorrow morning?
Yeah, he's just like, hey, I got my friend that lives with me. Why don't I have him on?
The nepotism in this family. It's just a family of nepo babies. All of them.
It is. So Joey's excited. He can plug his laugh machine appearance on the show. And he says, this is great. He's kissing up to Danny, helping him take off his jacket, pulls out his chair for him. Danny admits he was kind of leaning towards that tall, pretty blonde who does the evening news. And Joey exclaims, oh, he's awful. Joey pulls out another chair for Danny to use as a footrest, and he tries to convince Danny that he needs someone who knows him as well as he knows himself, like someone who lives in his house. He begins to massage Danny's shoulders, and Danny asks, "Do you think Jesse could do it?" Joey starts to aggressively massage Danny's shoulders after hearing that, and Danny laughs. Easy, easy. I talked to everybody. I set it up. You got the job. Joey rejoices at this news. He tells Danny he should have kept him going before he pulls the footrest away. Joey holds up his fingers, admitting, "You were this close to getting your car waxed."
Oh. Should have held out a little longer. So wait, he already knew that he was going to ask Joey to co-host, but Joey didn't know?
Yes, Danny knew, but Joey didn't know, and Danny was just making fun.
Just stringing him along. Okay,
stringing him along. Yep.
Got it.
This did feel like a weird shoehorned storyline. Like, I'm like, okay, Lori wasn't available, and they're like, what are we going to do with Danny and Joey? So let's just
give them
put them
a
on
thing.
Wake Up San Francisco together. I don't know. It was a little shoehorned in, but okay. We are in Steph and DJ's room. Michelle walks into the room. DJ follows with a notepad. Michelle greets all of Steph's stuffed animals with a handshake and a hello. And then a very weirdly looped hi just added on at the end.
Right? My first thought was, as Stephanie, I was like, why is Michelle in my room touching my things?
You felt some possessiveness?
That was a sibling thought. Yeah. I was like, why is Michelle touching Steph's stuff? Why is she touching her animals? They're obviously set up there for a reason. But
yeah, your little sister's just, messing with your stuff. Don't mess with Mr. Bear.
Yeah.
So DJ tells Michelle to slow down. She picks her up and places her on her bed. She tells Michelle that observing her was supposed to be easy, but so far she's played with all of her animals and flushed every toilet in the house.
There was only like 2.
I know, that doesn't take very long.
That doesn't take long.
There's the one upstairs next to the girls' room.
Right.
And then there's
the one in Danny's bathroom.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Danny has one, and Joey has one.
And then one downstairs, we're assuming. And then Joey has one. Okay, there's 4.
Okay.
One on each level.
Well.
2 on the top level. Okay.
Still not enough for the amount of people that are living in that house.
Right.
So DJ offers nap time next. Michelle agrees. Okay, nap time. She closes her eyes for 1 second, and then her eyes pop back open. Nap over.
I used to hate when my kids would do that.
Right? Why are they so
They'd be like,
against
nap time.
naps?
You're like, oh, yes, great. And then they're like, ha, just kidding. Like,
yeah. Kids just wait. When you're our age, you will live for naps.
Right? You'll appreciate naps.
So Michelle hops out of bed and runs out the door through Jesse's legs. DJ follows her out of the room as Jesse and Steph walk in, ready to call Walter on the red lips phone. Classic.
Right? Calling duck lips on the lips phone.
It's great. It's so appropriate.
Yeah.
Steph tries to get out of the call by saying in a very raspy tone, "I can't talk. I lost my voice." Jesse counters this by saying they'll just have to go over to Walter's house and apologize in person. Steph clearly remarks, "My voice is back. It's a miracle." Jesse dials Walter's number and tells Steph they'll all feel good after doing this. Jesse hands her the phone and Steph greets Walter, following up with, "I'm really sorry." "Well, nice talking to you." She attempts to hang up, but Jesse stops her. He tells her to mention what she's sorry for. She says she's sorry for quacking at him, then attempts to hang up again. Jesse stops her again and saying, "And?" Steph continues her apology. "And called you Duckface and threw little pieces of bread at you."
Steph! Steph! Come on.
You're so matter-of-fact about it, though. You're like, okay, I'm apologizing for this, and this.
That's the funny. But Steph, that's just me.
And Jesse's shocked. He's like, "You threw bread at this kid?" It's so mean.
Kids they're just so cruel.
Kids are mean, and this feels a little out of character for Steph, but I think because the whole school was doing it, the whole class.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's the sort of the thing is that you're like, and I've seen my kids do it where they've jumped in, and you're like, this isn't. I know that this isn't like who you are, though. You just kind of jumped in because everyone else was saying something. So
yeah,
it's a very kid thing to do, which was why this was such a great episode.
Absolutely. So Jesse forces Steph to tell Walter he's a very nice boy, and Steph does. Jesse asks her if there's anything she'd like to say. So Steph asks Walter if he would like to say hi to her Uncle Jesse and hands the phone to him. She walks out of the room while Jesse is stuck on the phone with Walter. Hey, back.
Yep.
So next in the living room, Danny runs down the stairs, yelling for Joey because they're going to be late. Joey hurries in, asking what the big rush is. Danny explains that he always leaves the house at exactly 7:48. But now, thanks to Joey, he's 2 minutes late. Joey points at a clock on the wall and says that they are right on time. Danny points at this clock and states, "That's a barometer." They have I laughed out loud at this.
I did too.
They finally used the nautical decor.
Yes. Yeah.
As a joke.
Yes.
I loved it. So the doorbell rings. Joey answers it to reveal Duckface.
There he is.
Yeah, there he is. He's doing his signature puckered lip look. Joey says hi to him, and Duckface asks if Stephanie Tanner is there. Joey yells up to Steph that her friend is there. And meanwhile, Duckface introduces himself as Walter F. Berman. Joey responds by saying his name is Joseph A. Gladstone. And Danny follows by saying he is Daniel E. Tanner. This was such a great bit.
Do you remember what their middle names are?
Oh, wait, we heard this in the flashback.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Joey...
I want to say it was Joseph...
Alvin?
Alvin Gladstone?
I don't remember.
I do remember that Daniel is Daniel Ernest Tanner.
Ernest.
Yes.
I remember Ernest, but I don't remember Joey. Let's say Alan. I don't know. Someone will correct us.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So Danny welcomes Walter into the house. He tells the kids to have a good day at school and quickly leaves with Joey. Steph walks into the room and her eyes get wide as she sees Walter standing there. She hesitantly asks him what he's doing there, walking through her living room and sitting on the couch. Walter explains that he wanted to thank her in person for calling to apologize. Steph shrugs, saying it was something she had to do. Walter inquires, "So, you really think I'm a very nice boy?" Steph's jaw drops and she says, yeah?
Oh, Steph.
Oh, here we go. You can
boy.
see it coming. You can see it coming. It's so funny. Walter exclaims, "This is marvelous. I never thought I'd have a friend, and now I have a girlfriend." Steph questions, "You do? Who?" And Walter responds, "You." Steph is flabbergasted, asking, "Me?" This is so... The expression on your face, you're just so horrified, but trying to keep it in.
Right. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no. There's been a misunderstanding. Yeah.
So Walter scooches closer to her and states, "Walter plus Stephanie equals true love forever."
Oh.
He puts his arm around her and she nervously asks, "Forever?"
Damn it, Steph.
Steph, oh.
Although I have to say, the one thing I did notice about Steph in this scene is an amazing pair of pink high-top Reeboks.
Ooh, fashionable.
I remember I had like every color of them on the show.
Ooh, okay.
The high top, there was like a pink and a green and a turquoise and all different colors. But yeah, I
so
saw
cute.
myself walk in this scene. And I was like, ooh, all the pink high tops in the world aren't going to save you now, Steph.
Oh, those were great. Because, you could just get whatever pair to match your outfit. You could get the color that matches your outfit that week. That's fantastic. So we cut to an awkward commercial break. And then we continue in the living room. Walter can't wait to tell the whole second grade that she's his girlfriend. He stands up proudly and admits he feels 4 feet tall. He puckers his lips and marches towards the door. Stephanie stops him. She says he can't tell anyone that she's his girlfriend. He asks, "So you want it to be a secret?" Steph nods. Yeah, top secret. Walter is intrigued at first, but then realizes he doesn't know what a secret girlfriend means. Steph explains that they'll never talk to each other, never look at each other, and never hold hands. They'll be total strangers.
Wow, that'll work.
Yeah, and for some reason, Walter agrees to this. Like, this poor kid. Like, he's just so excited to have a girlfriend.
Well, that happens sometimes where they're like, yeah, like, I'll be your friend, but we can't talk at school. You know?
Yeah, that's so sad. Like, this kid is just so thirsty for a friend that he's willing to put up with this.
I know. Watching it as an adult, my heart is breaking for Walter. But, like, as a kid, you were like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to hang out with Duckface.
Yeah, you're like, these are the terms of this friend, the secret, relationship.
Right.
So Walter agrees to the terms, but continues to call her his secret girlfriend. Steph responds, well, I guess I won't talk to you later, and she tries to shoo him out the door. Walter stays put and dramatically removes his glasses, asking Steph if she knows what he's doing now. Steph admits she's afraid to ask. Walter tells her that he's giving her a secret kiss in his mind, and he closes his eyes and puckers. And Whit really knocked this out of the park. He
really did.
He's so dramatic.
His little taking off of the glasses the whole moment. He really went for it.
He committed.
Yeah.
Like I can just imagine that his audition was
just
a home run.
Right?
Like, oh my gosh. So he abruptly leaves and Steph closes the door behind him. She screams, ew, and wipes her cheek off as she scurries away. And the audience applauds. Like, this was just a fantastic scene between the two of you.
Yeah. Steph and Walter.
So next in Michelle's room, Michelle runs into her room holding DJ's paper. DJ walks in asking for her paper back so she can write down that Michelle stole it. Michelle happily states, my paper, before running behind her crib. DJ runs after her sister but ends up hitting her knee on Michelle's crib. She hobbles onto the floor, holding her knee in pain. And then we hear some terrible looping of DJ saying, ow, ow, ow. Gotta love the 80s. You know, it's
so bad. Right. Mouth isn't moving. Right. You're like, it just throw some noises in there. It's fine.
Like the volume is different too.
Right,
like it's just so obvious that this was put in post.
Those were the days, right? That was as good as it got.
So Michelle says, I sorry, and hands the paper back to DJ. She asks DJ if she got a boo-boo, and then kisses DJ's knee to make it all better.
Aww.
DJ thanks Michelle, saying her knee is all better. Michelle excitedly responds, okay, more fun, and grabs the paper before running away. Steph storms into the room and shouts at DJ, have you seen your Uncle Jesse? DJ tells her to check his room. Steph defends herself, saying she would have thought of that if she wasn't so steamed.
Steph is pissed. Steph is on one. Yeah.
She is raging.
Yeah.
Blames Jesse for all of this.
Oh, yeah.
So Steph knocks on Jesse's open door while simultaneously bursting in. She asks, may I come in? Thank you, while walking right up to her uncle. Steph explains that because she was forced to call Duckface, he now thinks she's his girlfriend. She emphasizes that he kissed her in his mind. Steph concludes, if this gets out at school, I'm a dead duck. Have a nice day. And she glares at Jesse before storming away.
So mad.
And Jesse's just left like, what just happened?
Right? I just got yelled at by a 6 or 7 year old. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You know, I can see why Steph is mad.
Right. Steph, she needed to apologize. What she did was wrong, but now it's, now there's been a misunderstanding. And Lord knows when you're in elementary school, like I've watched my kids do it all the time. When you just don't lie and make it worse. And they almost always lie and make it worse. And you're like, okay, cool. You're going to have fun dealing with that.
It just keeps snowballing no matter what you do.
Yeah. And you're like, oh God, yeah. And you just think about all the times that you've learned that lesson as a kid. And then you just watch them doing it. And you're like, yeah, this is going to catch up with you and you're going to hate it. But okay.
So next, we're on the set of Wake Up San Francisco. Danny is getting touch-ups and wonders how Joey could possibly be late, considering they drove there together. Danny starts the show solo, explaining that Becky is away this week. He invites her temporary replacement to arrive, saying he needs no introduction because he's not there. On cue, Joey slides into the empty chair, explaining that his lateness is due to the donut man being late.
It's like every other comic I know. We all reach in at the last, I'm here. Everything's fine. Right. Yeah.
With a donut in hand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or a Starbucks or something. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's always just like, no, I thought I had the time to do it.
It's so
9 out of 10 comedians have terrible timing. I mean, not timing, but always
tardiness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hysterical. So, okay, this is art imitating life.
Yes.
Danny gives Joey a stellar introduction, referring to him as one of the hottest young comics on the local scene. And Joey cheesily says, oh, come on, cut it out. After only being on air for 20 seconds, 10 of which he missed, Joey mentions that he'll be headlining at the Laugh Machine this Saturday. Danny responds by saying Joey's infamous, cut it out. Danny welcomes their first guest, who happens to be his personal hero, the hug therapist, Dr. Ruben Weiniger. Dr. Ruben enters and hugs both of the men, which causes Joey and Danny to also hug each other. Danny tells the viewers there's a lot of love on this set.
I seem to remember that line maybe got cut and not cut, but that little clip was used, I think, in the gag reel for that year.
Oh,
I seem to remember they did a whole bit to the song "Love," oh, and I think I somehow have it in my head that it started at the little gag reel segment was Bob going, "There's a lot of love on this set," and then it cuts to us doing a whole little montage of stuff for our gag reel.
That sounds familiar. The song,
right?
Too. The song you were singing.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was our 3rd season gag reel but I feel like Bob saying there's a lot of love on this set was
the start of the hug montage or whatever. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Do you still have the gag reels? I'm trying to remember if I still.
I do.
Oh, you do. Okay,
I
great.
do, and I had it. Years ago, I had all of the stuff transferred over to DVDs. Of course, now even DVDs are who has those? Right. But I have all of the gag reels and all of that stuff. So it is at least saved in that regard. Yeah.
Great. Oh, so funny. I love it. We'll have to pull those out sometime.
We should do a mini-sode on a gag reel. Although it would be, I don't know.
How do we'll talk about that later. Fanaritos?
I know. We'll talk about it later.
Let's have a production meeting right here.
Let's have a production meeting in the middle of this show. Right.
Okay, so back to Wake Up San Francisco. Dr. Ruben starts by saying you can tell a lot from the way people hug. And he admits that something feels wrong here. And he asks Danny and Joey if either of them is suppressing any anger. Well, Danny admits he would like Joey to take some things more seriously, like punctuality. Joey says life's too short to be ruled by a clock. And Danny asks, how would you know that? You tell time on a barometer.
That was actually a great joke. Yeah, that was funny.
That was a good burn. Joey would rather be a free spirit than a guy who polishes his shoe trees. And Danny corrects Joey by saying he waxes them, not polishes. This is how 30-year-old men argue,
right?
What a burn. Their argument begins to heat up while still on live television. Ruben finally interrupts and asks if they've read his book, Hug Your Way to Happiness. He forces the two to hug, and they reluctantly do. Ruben encourages them to say something nice to each other. Joey compliments Danny's recycling. And Danny thinks it's great that Joey will be at the Laugh Machine that weekend, adding another plug for the viewers.
I have to say, this is a terrible therapist.
He really is.
He's a terrible therapist. He's not listening to anyone. He's making people touch each other that obviously don't want to. It's fine.
Well, and then is the lesson here that just the hug,
right? Is the lesson just shut up
and
don't talk about things and just hug each other and pretend it never happened?
And now they're fine? This was resolved in 15 seconds? This is, I don't know. Again, I didn't love this storyline, but,
Yeah, Dr. Ruben Weiniger, your book, it sucks. Okay.
We give that 1 star.
We give that 1 star. Yeah, my Amazon rating for that is just 1 star. Don't buy. Terrible advice. I tried hugging everyone that was mad at me and I got punched. Okay.
It is terrible advice. So next in the kitchen, Michelle enthusiastically takes a bite out of a sandwich that is bigger than her face. Jesse asks if she's having a nice time before rightfully taking his sandwich back and replacing it with a miniature sandwich that's actually hers.
It was a giant sandwich.
It was huge. I'm surprised she could get her hands around it. DJ walks into the kitchen and tells Michelle that the report she wrote about her got an A and asks Michelle for a mini 5, and they high five. Jesse's happy to hear this. He asks, so it was a good idea using the baby? Michelle corrects him, saying she's not a baby. She's a big girl. Jesse gets close to her face and comments, ooh, a big girl? Well, excuse me, Miss Tanner. DJ tells her sister that she's really happy they got to spend time together. She realizes Michelle's like a little person now, sensitive, compassionate, and smarter than most dogs. Michelle responds to this by making a silly face and sticking her tongue out at DJ. DJ adds that Michelle still grosses her out, though. Then Steph walks in. Jesse asks, Here we go. Now we're getting to the meat of the scene. Jesse asks how her school day was, and she sarcastically says, oh, just dandy. She goes on to say that Walter still thinks she's his secret girlfriend, and he was giving her kisses in his mind all day. Ugh. Jesse tells her he's sorry, but he still stands by the fact that apologizing to Walter was the right thing to do. Stephanie sighs. If it was the right thing, how come my life is a mess?
Well, because you kind of didn't, you just trying to not hurt somebody's feelings more, and you just
But this is your penance. You got to pay your penance,
right?
Jesse says, just because you do the right thing doesn't mean your life is going to be perfect. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Yep.
Bingo.
Yep.
That is some sage advice.
Sometimes doing the right thing has its own consequences, but you do it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, this is a great lesson. This is a really good lesson.
It is a great lesson. This whole episode, it was a really great lesson. I really enjoyed this one.
Very well written, and it just this is our target audience right here.
Yeah.
Kids that are the age where they're mean to each other, and so the whole thing worked for me. Jesse recommends that Steph nicely tell Walter that they are just friends, without adding any duck jokes. Steph begs, no more advice, please. I thought grown-ups were supposed to get you out of trouble, not into it.
Oh, Steph, boy, do I have some news for you, my friend. Wait till you're an adult.
Just wait.
Right.
The doorbell rings and Steph leaves to answer it, thinking it's her friends, who she's working on a big bug project with. Jesse asks her to come to his room after they're done because he wants to finish their conversation.
This is such a weird way to end a scene, though.
I agree. Yeah.
It was so... I've never seen it done on this show before, or really on almost any, because it was like we entered the room of the next scene and we only see Jesse come through the door, and then we cut to a commercial. Like, it was like that little bit of conversation with Jesse going, oh, come up to my room after you're done. Like, that should have happened in the kitchen.
Yes.
And then we cut on Steph walking out of the room and pick it up on her walking into the room. I don't know. I'm not sure why we didn't do that, or why the scene sort of bled over strangely into the next room. But for me, that was something that, like, my director eye was thrown off by that, because I was like, that's odd. What an odd choice to do that and then cut the scene and then pick up with Stephanie opening the door. Like, what it was, very odd.
It bumped me too, and I was just like, why did Billy Foster choose this?
Well, I wonder. I was like, was it written that way? That was the scene written so that it had that little continuous bit in the living room with Jesse through the door, or was that just a choice that they made to, you know what I mean? They were like, oh, we'll just split the scene up this way. I don't know.
I feel like when Jesse says, come up to my room after you're done so we can finish this conversation, I feel like they're setting up. They're setting up for that scene at the end where you guys talk.
But I don't know why.
So they had to plant the seed,
right?
Then.
But I don't know why we didn't do that right in the kitchen.
In the kitchen, right? I don't know. I don't have an answer for it.
Anyway,
unless they needed to get.
It was just it was an interesting, strange choice that I've never seen done, where you have one line at the end of a scene in another room and then cut and then pick up on an almost continuous action in this next scene. Even with the commercial break in between. Yeah, but
the commercial break was the weirder part for me. Because I can see that Jesse ends up hiding at the top of the stairs. He's observing, he's spying on Steph to see how she reacts to this thing going on. So maybe they needed to establish Jesse coming into the living room. Because I don't know, where do the stairs lead to? Like, if he had left...
We got 19 pairs of stairs, sets of stairs in this house. He goes up the back ones and through the house, through the time portal into the living room stairs.
Right. So he didn't need to go through the living room to get to that landing to spy on you. So
he doesn't walk through the living room.
Oh, he doesn't. You're right.
He doesn't walk through the living room.
There's literally
no reason for it to be that way. It just is a weird choice. So.
And we're stuck on it. We're stuck on it.
I am stuck on it. Yeah. As a person, as a person who's been on sitcoms for a large portion of my life, like, it was like, I've never seen that. How weird. So
that was very weird, and because sitcoms are so formulaic and like there's a rhythm and a routine,
right?
And when you're taken out of the moment, it's very obvious,
right?
Yeah, well, I get it. So continuous action after the awkward commercial break.
Yeah.
Steph answers the door, and to her surprise, it's Walter. Upon seeing him, Steph whines, "This is supposed to be a secret." Walter assures Steph that no one knows he's there, except his mom, but he told her it was strictly business. Walter hands Steph flowers, and she thanks him, but makes an excuse that she's got a lot of homework. So she grabs his hand and begins leading him out the door. As Steph is walking Walter toward the door, her group members enter at the same time. One boy mocks, "Oh, it's Duckface." And then Harry chimes in, "You dumped me for Duckface?"
Harry.
A girl calls Harry.
You know, Harry really, after the DJ thing, I just feel he didn't handle the breakup well. He's obviously still kind of hurt and taking it out on Steph.
Did you break up with him? Wait, did you break up with him or did he leave you for DJ?
He left me for DJ, and then I was like, fine, we can be friends again, but yeah.
But no romance, no marriage.
So yeah, no, after that moment, things were never the same. They were never the same.
No. Come on, Harry. Like, this is your swan song. You have to, like, redeem yourself. I'm very disappointed.
I don't know if we should use any sort of bird references when referring to this.
A duck song?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Okay, so the kids
DuckTales, woo. Sorry. No, okay.
So the kids are piling on. They're calling them Mr. and Mrs. Duckface. They're going to get married and live in a pond. Walter yells back, "We're not getting married. Stephanie's just my secret girlfriend." And Steph is like, "Oh, Walter."
Yeah.
Harry is all over this. Harry's like, "It's true. You are Mrs. Duckface." Then all three kids start to quack at her and make fun of her.
No loyalty. None.
No, none.
No.
Not
but that's
age,
kids,
no.
right? They are
That's
just,
kids.
Yeah.
Jesse is standing at the top of the stairs and he watches the entire thing unfolding. Steph runs away, telling them to stop teasing her. She shouts, "I'm not his secret girlfriend. I'm not his any kind of girlfriend." The little boy Brian tells Steph to prove it by calling Walter Duckface and throwing him out of her house. Harry adds, "Quick, before I walk out of your life forever."
Hey, Harry, that moment has come and gone. You're done. You're done,
What
sir.
an ultimatum. And
Yeah,
this
you're
is
done,
his
sir.
last episode. So
Right?
he really, like, Steph took that
that's what
seriously.
I'm saying. Like I said, nothing against Nathan Ichiguchi in real life.
No.
But Harry in this episode, bye.
Bye. Yeah,
Bye.
yeah.
Yeah. Not cool, bro.
Wow.
Not cool,
Yeah,
bro.
Steph doesn't take it. Steph
No.
does not take that. So Steph snaps back. "No, I'm not going to call him Duckface. He's not my boyfriend, but he is my friend." Boy, did I cheer. Did I cheer?
Yep. I was like,
when you
yeah,
said this,
Steph.
I was like, yeah, go
that's
Steph.
it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Walter's like like you can see it on his face. He's so touched. He says, I'm your secret friend. And Steph replies, "No, Walter, you're my everybody can know friend."
That's it, Steph.
Like, if that just doesn't make your cold black heart grow three sizes.
This episode really did. My little Grinchy self was like, oh, that's right, Steph. And honestly, I watched this episode and I was like, I'm so proud to be Steph. Like, I'm so proud of her. I am so proud of her.
That gives me such warm fuzzies. Like, I love Stephanie. She's such a cool character. Even at the tender age of 7 or whatever you were at the time. Like, oh, man.
She was like, I'm not here to play.
She's really the most grown-up one in the entire Full House. Like,
That's true. She has
the best perspective.
She really does have a lot of,
She's
just
the
only one that
person.
lives in reality sometimes, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, she is. She is. I love her. She's a good person with a good heart, and this episode really shows that.
Yeah.
So Steph addresses the other kids and tells them if they're her friends, they wouldn't tease Duckface either. Brian asks, "Why not? It's fun." And Steph marches up to him and asks, "Oh yeah? Was it fun when you got hurt during recess and everyone called you Crying Brian?"
Mm-hmm.
Harry laughs at this, but Steph addresses him next, reminding him of when he got a bad haircut and everyone called him Salad Bowl Head.
Yeah, remember that, Harry? Remember your bad haircut, Harry?
The girl giggles at this, and Steph walks up to her last, asking, "What's so funny, Miss Milk through her nose on Parents' Day? Twice?" Burn.
Steph reads them for filth. She comes in and she's like, no. Here's the deal. There's a scene, I think it's in Pose, where they're at a restaurant and some woman, like upper whatever class woman, makes a comment to these four trans women sitting at a table and says something, and the one gets up and is just like, oh, well, here we go. And I was like, yes, this is like Steph's moment like that, where she's just like, no, you guys want to talk. I'm going to bring up your stuff that you're insecure about too, because we all have it. And I loved Steph for that. I loved her for that.
She dished it out. She commanded the room.
Was just like, no, you want to laugh? Remember when everyone laughed at you? Yeah, we do.
And that is strength, you know? Like kids mistakenly think they're strong because they're making fun of other people. But no, it takes real strength to stand up to people and tell them when they're wrong. Oh, man. I got such a natural high off of this.
I know, me too. And I also was like, this is, Steph and I have always been, a kindred spirits. So I applaud her for this.
Love it. I love it. So Steph asks the other kids if it feels good to be teased, and they all say no in unison. Then she turns to Walter and asks if he'll stay and be a part of their group for this project. Walter is extremely excited and says that he would enjoy that. He thanks Steph for sticking up for him. And Steph smiles. Sometimes you just have to do the right thing, right, group? And all the kids agree. Yeah. Steph nods in approval, saying, good answer. I'll be right back. And she runs upstairs. Jesse quickly runs to his room so she doesn't catch him. And he flops into his bed and fakes a phone call in an attempt to make it look like he wasn't eavesdropping. Steph strolls in, asking if she can talk to him. Jesse ends his fake phone call and asks Steph, how did it go? Steph says it went great. Then she grins and asks Jesse how it went from watching upstairs. Jesse smiles and kisses her on the forehead, realizing he was caught. Steph admits that he was right. It feels terrible to be teased. She asks Jesse if they're still friends. Jesse assures her that they're still friends and asks why she would think otherwise. Steph thinks it's because she got so mad at him. She admits that she was never going to trust him again. He promises that she can always trust her Uncle Jesse. He may make mistakes once in a while, but he's always going to be on her side. He just wants her to grow up and be the best little person she can be. And right then downstairs, she was about as good as it gets. Steph tells him that when she grows up, she wants to be just like her Uncle Jesse, but wear dresses. Jesse pulls Steph into a big hug and adds, if anyone ever calls you Zorba the Geek again, you just tell him to see Mrs. Duckface. Jesse says, duck kiss, and they each give each other a kiss before going back in for another hug. And that is our show, ladies and gentlemen.
And I have to say, that last moment, the ending made me cry because I could see the genuineness between John and I. And if you watch that last hug that he gives me in the scene, he's whispering something in my ear and I don't know what it is. But my eyes are closed and he's giving me the biggest hug. And it made me cry because I watched it and I went, oh, that's not scripted. That's just the real moment that happened.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
and watching that scene between John and I, like, we both were so in it and connected, and it was just such a sweet scene. And also for me, like, it made me emotional because I was like, this is such an important lesson, and it's such a, like, core part of that, something that I believe in so wholeheartedly, of, like, being kind to others and sticking up for people who are, you know, like, being made fun of. And I'm sure I was a kid and an asshole, and, you know, as we all are, but I also know that, like, overall, I always tried to be this person that was like, no, you're not going to do this. And it made me really proud that we did such a great episode about being kind to others who are a little bit different. And that Steph was the one who was, like, not going to put up with it. It was an episode that I watched and I went, I'm really proud that was who I got to be as the character, and that she got to teach that lesson. And then, you know, also watching the genuine, sweet, kind moment between John and I, and that last hug where I can tell it's just, he's genuinely squeezing me because he loves me. And I'm genuinely giving him a hug that has nothing to do with Steph and Jesse, but is just a real sweet moment. And this episode really, it hit me in the feels. And again, when you hear our episode, our interview with Whit, that will also hit you in the feels. Like this was a really important, great episode, and it's also one that I think so many people remember from, classic Full House days is the Duckface episode. But yeah,
I remember this episode just because of Whit's face. Like, he's just so Duckface. He's
big
so cute.
Eyes.
I didn't realize the message behind it. Because I haven't seen it. I don't know if I'd ever seen this episode, to be honest. So I didn't think about the bigger message involved. And that was the magic of Full House. It was these important messages told through people who had this genuine connection. Mm-hmm. And that love, that wasn't scripted.
Yeah.
That chemistry wasn't scripted. You can't script it.
Yeah.
Like that was real. And that's why Full House was the juggernaut that it was, because I think the audiences fell in love with the chemistry between all of us. And what a great,
really great episode. I'm very proud of this episode. Steph is a badass. I love that she is who she is, and she'll fight for people. That was admirable in Steph, and I'm just so glad that hopefully a generation of young people watched that and maybe learned something, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I love that.
Did you have any Everywhere You Look moments?
I think I have the same. I probably the same one you do.
Well, I have two.
Okay, I have two.
Okay,
as well.
Okay, you go give me your first one.
Should I do the one that we
do? The one that I think we both are gonna do.
Overlap.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on the Wake Up San Francisco set.
Yep.
The stage manager is our actual stage manager, Mark Sandrowski.
Yep. Mark Sandrowski, who was Dave Coulier's friend since they were 9 years old growing up, who was our actual stage manager on the show, and who did a little guest part there with his lines, and who went on to become an Emmy award-winning director for Big Bang Theory and other Chuck Lorre things. So yeah.
It was so cool. And Mark is he's so
such
good. I love good.
Yeah, he's so great.
Just watch. He reacts to what Bob is saying, and he counts down. Just like he's so present.
Yeah,
like he's a great. I don't think he's an actor, but he's so good. He and Dave did
comedy. It was he has a kid, and so that was kind of what they like to do. And so that was one. What's your other Everywhere You Look?
Well, I have one more thing to add about Mark. Mark Sandrowski originated. Cut it out. That's where Dave got it. And so I love that they inserted cut it out so many times into that scene. So I'm like, that's a nod to Mark.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Loved it. Okay. My second one is actually a question. Speaking of stairs, I noticed for the first time that in Joey's room, there's stairs going opposite directions. I never noticed that's the stairs on the right. Where do those go to? Where do those go?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's a basement.
I know it's a basement.
It doesn't make sense.
Maybe.
Does it go? It can't possibly lead.
Maybe that there's a back staircase that goes just directly all the way up.
Oh, like a tornado shelter or something.
Like you would have almost like service stairs. I mean, old Victorian homes would have like a service stair where, like, basically the kitchen stairs would be quote unquote like a service stair that only your staff would use, and then everyone else would use the front stair. But I don't know where two stairs in the.
It doesn't.
It's always been there. That's the funny thing is it's always been there, like a split staircase. But we've never used the way to the right because I think we all went. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
But now we're like,
doesn't make sense.
Screw it. Just use it. Who cares? This house doesn't exist, couldn't exist possibly anyway. So use all the stairs.
My next pitch is that we should get Jerry Dunn on the show, who designed all of these sets. Or did he design
He didn't design Full House.
He didn't design Full House.
Just Fuller.
He did Fuller. Okay.
But I think on the internet somewhere, there is someone who tried to put basically like an architectural rendering of the Full house with all of the things that it has and what you see and what the shape of the house actually would be. And it's like something off of like Roblox. You know what I mean? It's like it is the weirdest shaped, like couldn't possibly exist in actual buildings.
No, it defies logic. It defies gravity. It
Everything,
defies everything.
It is, I think, it's a portal to some sort of black hole, or there's a time warp in there. I don't know. There's
something going on at that Tanner
Something
house,
going
man.
on at Tanner house, because it's like it's like the Winchester Mystery House with all the stairs in that house.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's got to be
so
stairs
many
that go into
stairs.
blank walls and doors that open onto nothing.
Yes, it has to be, because there's so many dang stairs.
So many dang stairs
in this
And
house.
I always say that they do construction quickly in this house.
They really
Without
do.
any, yeah.
No mess, because Dan and Tanner. No mess.
No mess.
No noise.
No,
Yeah.
it's great.
The
but
best.
I
That's
will
what
tell you, my other Everywhere You Look moment was, it was a classic late 80s beverage.
Ooh.
It was a New York seltzer.
Oh.
They were in a couple episodes, or a couple scenes in this episode, and they were like
really
Greeked out or whatever, but New York seltzer in the little bottles with the like different color wraps on, and it was basically, flavored soda water. Sugar,
flavored soda water.
But yeah,
like the LaCroix of the
I
80s.
wouldn't be that mean to New York seltzer. I love LaCroix, but actually LaCroix tastes like if you licked a fruit and then licked the glass that you're going to pour the water in.
Yes,
but New York seltzer actually was like you juiced in and added sugar. Really was what it was.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. The real sugar. The real stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, that was my little other Everywhere You Look moment, because you don't see them now. I think that company might have gone out of business, but it was
you don't
could
see
get
those
it
now.
in the 80s, like delis, bagel shops. Yeah.
Oh man.
So
man, I could use one right now for sure.
Right? Seriously, I'm gonna go eat a sandwich the size of Michelle Tanner's head, like in that scene,
and drink a New York seltzer.
Seltzer. Yep, and go find my time portal in the Tanner household. So.
And find some ducks on a lake and throw some bread at them.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. That's the rest of my day.
I love it.
I love
great
it.
episode.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us for another fun episode of How Rude Tanneritos. We hope you enjoyed the show today. And if you're looking for ways to find us online, you can find us on Instagram at How Rude Podcast. You can also send us an email at howrudepodcast@gmail.com. And also make sure you're liking and subscribing to the podcast wherever you're listening to it, to make sure that you get all the newest episodes as soon as they drop. And we will see you guys next week for a really great episode, a really fun interview with Wit himself. And remember, the world is small, but the door's always open. Yeah?
Very good. Very good. Okay. There's
still
an extra
questioning that
syllable. There's one
An extra
too many
syllable?
syllables.
Yeah.
Syllable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take some redoing, but I just...
I'll get my red editor pen. We'll do some
thank God.
some
Okay,
edits,
perfect.
some notes. We'll
Great.
listen to the Faneritos. Like, everybody's gonna have thoughts on
Perfect.
this. So
Sounds good.
we'll get
All right, you
feedback.
guys. See you next time.